Hello everybody. So gather you all made it through the debacle that is Christmas, and we find ourselves on the other side of that now, thank goodness, you know. Well, that's the way I look at it, you know. I don't mean to be a Scrooge or anything, but for me it's just a software program. It's Christmas, you know. I mean, I can give gifts and eat myself into a state of apoplexy any time of the year, frankly. I don't need to wait till prescribed dates and times to be able to do that. I can do that any time of the year. The question is, why would I want to? You know, anyway. I came across something today, and it just reminded me of what the work we're meant to do here now really is all about. Now, I like to delve, you know, and I have done for many years. I mean, conspiracy theories, what's going on, the nature of reality, etc. You know, I like that. I find it interesting, and I do that. But increasingly, over the years, I've become aware that the one factor, the pivotal point of it all, is consciousness. It's all about consciousness. It always has been. It always was. Now, we get people that just never arrive at that point. They just want to keep playing the game, and they want to meddle in the game and believe it's all real. And they want to believe that there is an enemy of fierce and dark proportions that is almost always all-powerful. I mean, we've had so many of these theories. Remember Sitchin, Alexander Sitchin, with this ludicrous notion that Enki and his brother, and these were supposed gods. They're not gods, you know, just two geezers that came from, I don't know, planet Zorg, that came down here and created some hybrid species, aka us, to mine gold for them. I mean, as far as sci-fi goes, that's really not a very good story, and Philip K. Dick would have laughed his head off and said, well, I ain't going to write about that, fuck off. It's just ludicrous, it's stupid, but it's one of these, oh, you're total victims, you know, and there's nothing you can do, you're just powerless slaves, and you're worthless and you're shit. And then there's the one about Loosh, oh, we're just batteries, we're batteries for the evil ones, and the Demiurge created everything, all of it, you know, and we're just here for them to feed off. Loosh, loosh, loosh. And that is why they make us suffer. Well, I can tell you this, if that were true, which it isn't, but if that were true, we would be suffering a hell of a lot more than we already are, all of us, all the time, perpetually, constantly. There wouldn't be any love, there wouldn't be any light, there wouldn't be any goodness at all. We'd all be forced to play Monopoly 24/7, whilst being, I don't know, burned with cigarette butts, you know, and drinking really cheap, horrible beer. I mean, it's ridiculous, people. It's ridiculous to me that we allow ourselves to get sucked into these horrible, dark, tortuous, depressing, gut-wrenching scenarios of slavery, powerlessness, and evil always winning. But we do it, don't we? And I know why. Because it's virus, and it's in there squirming. It wants feeding, you see. It wants to be fed, and that's why we go through it. I'm not saying I don't, by the way, because I do, but that's why I know it, and that's why you know it. Because we go through that. Done it again. It's addictive. It's like my mind still tells me every day that it wants that I need a cigarette. It does that. It says, you need a cigarette, you need a cigarette. And I have to keep saying, well, no, I don't actually. I haven't had a cigarette for 4 months, so that's bullshit. It's the same type of thing. The dark side, our shadow, which is virus, is in there saying, oh, this is how it is, everything is really bad, it's bad, and we're never going to be alright, we're all fucked, and all right, madness, insanity, the gnashing of teeth, the wailing, the screaming, the scratching, the hate, the rage, all of this stuff, it is addictive. Because the virus needs this to survive, the virus of consciousness. Which is why, yes, we do need to face this over and over again, layer after layer after layer within ourselves. We do come face to face with our inner demons, as in, you know, like the Minotaur in a maze. It's the same thing. The stories are all around us. The language is all around us, showing us what is what with regards to that. It's easy to get lost, but we can find ourselves again time and time, growing stronger within, realizing that the truth does not lie outside of us, it lies within us. Our consciousness has been malfunctioning. Our pineal gland, which, and I could be completely wrong about that, it's just an idea, that's all. I think our pineal gland is like the projector that is used in cinemas, you know, to project the film onto the screen, and our pineal gland is our projector of reality. And of course, in this reality, the people talk about it being calcified, this that, and the other. That may well be the case. Our consciousness has been malfunctioning, and we've been creating this whole victim-y type reality, and you know, there's all these torturous ideas about this and that, and people get stuck in that. It's very, you know, when I was up on the moors, I kept getting stuck in these boggy places. It was a bit like that. It's very sucky. It's like, and it sucks you in if you let it. And then you have to really work hard to come out of it again, because it's also horrifying. It's also dark and hopeless and doom-laden and horrifying. And you find that you allow yourself to get sucked into that. And then, if you can, observe what happens. Observe what happens to your vibration, your energy. Observe how you feel. Observe how you start treating yourself. Observe how you start treating other people. Observe the effect that this descent into darkness, into virus has, because it's not good. And then observe what happens when you say, no, I'm not doing that. I can feel the power of love, which is, I love myself. I love nature. I have a sense of infinite creativity, of a sense of powerfulness, a sense of magic and miracles, a sense of light rising now. And I am a part of that, of creating, growing something new out of the ashes of all this despair. You know, come on people, we can do this. But I think that's the battle, isn't it? That is Armageddon. That is the battle that we all know is taking place, but most of us find it hard to get our heads around it, because the shadow is in there sabotaging us all the way, and constantly reinforcing that self-doubt, that mundane reality programming, which then goes deeper into, it's always morphing. It's always morphing. First it's like, well, there are no miracles and this is all there is. But then it becomes darker even. It becomes, well, actually you're just a battery to feed evil, and that's all you are. I mean, if that's what we are, then we're screwed and there's nothing we can do. So why even bother making videos about it, people? What's the point? No, it's we need to recognize the virus. We need to recognize what it is and what it does and how it works and how tricky and deceptive it is and how we keep falling for it so many times. But you know, sooner or later, because this is the wonderful thing. We fall for it again and again and again and again, and then we get better at not falling for it, because we start to realize, it's like walking, you know, when you're a child, you know, learning how to walk, and you keep falling over. So, or like me, when I was a young child, I was learning how to ride my bike and I kept falling over. But then I really got it. And you never fall over again. Or ice skating. In fact, I remember learning how to ice skate, and that was the same. This is the same. It's the same in practice. This whole idea of lush, because people generate so much energy when they're suffering and when they're miserable and when they're unhappy. Well, I can tell you this is bullshit. People generate, in terms of aura, people generate shitload of lush when they're really happy, when they're really fulfilled. I can feel that. I can feel the love vibrating within my body, and I can feel it spreading out of me. And then I can see the effect it has on everything around me, and it is always good and wholesome. And I can see smiles, I can see the twinkling of an eye, I can see inspiration, I can see growth of goodness and beauty. Whereas if I'm full of rage and defeatism and believe myself to be worthless and powerless, I can see that generate as well, and I can see what that does, and I can see everything wilting and collapsing and dying and rotting. That is what I see. Now, there is nothing to be had there for anything or anyone. You could say, well, evil likes that, and it makes evil feel good. But if that were true, then everything, I mean, we really would be in something like Blade Runner 2042 on steroids. Bad, awful, perpetual, horrific suffering, whatnot. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and it's bullshit. So don't allow yourself to get sucked into that. Don't allow yourself to be deceived. I feel that we are reaching this point of no return, this point of venturing through the gateway, the end of the quest. Well, at least for some of us, the rise is on. Words. The rise is on. We're here. This is our finest hour, and things are going to be changing if we choose the power of love and learn to utilize it. And I think this is what 2019 is all about, because 2018 and the years preceding it truly were all about going into our own inner hell and facing the demons that live there, that have been running our proverbial show and creating our reality. And we've done that again and again and again, valiantly. So now it's harvest time. Not louche, no. Goodies for all of us, because we've worked at it very hard. But I find that, you know, evil this is the nature of evil, and this is the nature of the virus. It will fight to the bitter end. So it's upping the ante. So we need to up the ante. So yeah, if this shit comes up for any of you, and you feel this heavy feeling of doom, of defeat, it can come in any shape or form in your own personal life, and things you hear about and things you witness, because virus still is everywhere, and it's, you know, like that. It works that way, like a cancer. If you see a cancer cell under a microscope, it's got these weird things coming off it, like an octopus almost, and it's a bit like that. But we are warriors of the light, so we can recognize this, and we are prepared. We are well schooled, and we can utilize everything to serve the light, one way or another. We can and do that. So let's continue to do that. and just laugh at it. You know, in Harry Potter, there's that scene where they have the new teacher, Lupin, who's a werewolf. And he's there to teach them defense against the dark arts. And part of their lesson is this cupboard, which in it, when he opens the door, in it, well, rather out of it, comes the greatest fear of the person standing in front of it. And for some people that's like, it's always ludicrous really, because it's like, oh, my fear is spiders, like that would be your greatest fear, spiders. You know, it isn't, of course. Our greatest fear is that evil always wins, and that we are, after all, just powerless batteries or something like that. That is always the greatest fear. This is the whole of reality. Supposed reality is all about that. This whole quest is all about that, facing that within ourselves. But yeah, you know, that little door is opened, and these, you know, like this giant spider comes out, and the guy imagines it wearing roller skates, and it's like all over the place. Well, maybe that is something that we need to learn to do. Maybe we need to laugh at it. Because, you know, I've got to be honest with you guys, when I heard the story of Alexander Sitchin all these years ago, I had to laugh at it. I didn't believe it then, I don't believe it now. It's ludicrous. As well as this whole loosh business, because again, we don't generate much of anything at all when we're miserable, powerless, groveling in the dirt at all. We generate shitloads of energy when we are in our power. You can feel that energy, you can feel it radiating through you and out of you. It's infinite creativity, and it's fucking powerful, and it's there. And trust me when I say that evil wouldn't want to eat that, because it would have a very bad case of indigestion. So going into 2019, let's just say to that and laugh at it. Just laugh at it, right? Why not? Laugh at it, and then focus on something beautiful, something good. Focus on that, because there is beauty and goodness here that can sustain us in this battle. We're not going to fail, people. It might feel like all too little and late, and I know there's all these different theories about what it is, how it is, when it will be, what it will be, how it will be, the events, ascension, oh, it will happen but in 70 years from now, or it will happen but by and very slowly, and we won't really reap the benefits because it's all a bit, you know, it's going to be in 100 years and we'll be dead by then, and all of it is so defeatist. I don't feel that at all. I feel that it is us. We create our own reality. Our consciousness has been malfunctioning. So love is the antibiotic. It's the medicine that we're taking, and that medicine is purging it out of our system, and so that is an unpleasant feeling. It's a Herxheimer reaction, people. So yes, okay, it's shit and we feel like shit, but just remember where you were a year ago, or where you were 2 years ago, or in fact where you were even 3 months ago, and you will remember, you will know, especially if you keep a journal, that you've made great strides into the light and into your power already, and that reset is happening already. It is. That's why evil is kicking up such a fuss because of that. Does my hair look really silly? Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. And again, I wasn't going to do a video, but then I was there and I came across that, and it felt important to say this. It just felt important to say this. It felt important to say this for me, because I go through this, you know, I do. It's like, we all do. You know, we all do, and it's all right. It's fine, because we get it wrong to get it right. Remember that one. It's all right, and yeah. Well, we are going to be seeing some very interesting developments in 2019. Yes, of the good kind, the best kind. I love you all, and I hope you all, well, focus on something beautiful, something that inspires you, something that nurtures you. Remember, we have to be our own mother, our own father, our own sister, our own brother, our own best friend now. Really sustain ourselves and nurture ourselves, so that we radiate out this beautiful energy and not this despair and hate and rage and self-hate and bollocks. Still, that's still coming up, still purging. But there's a more of a balance now, whereas, like for me 3 years ago, whoa, I was really going through it. And then it got worse and worse and worse, actually. And then a friend of mine died, and I went to the funeral, and that was like, wow, how fucking depressing that was. And I went even deeper into my own hell. But whilst all that was happening, there was more light as well. And more synchronicity, and then more light, and more knowing, and more amazingness. See, so I have been witnessing that, and I've been writing all that down and keeping track of all of that. And that is why I know that the light is winning, and it's doing so magically and beautifully, and that it's all going to be very fucking amazing, people. So bear with it. I love you all. Hang in there. Toodaloo.